Final.
The year, man. It got a little crazy out there, but we made it through. We're going to keep stacking the day, so see you in the championship. Oh,
June 17th wasn't just another game, it was all about payback. Remember May 30th, when Jacy Sheldon and the Connecticut Sun left Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson hurt on the floor after some rough plays that went unpunished. Well, the Indiana Fever hadn't forgotten when Sheldon poked Caitlin Clark right in the eye during this rematch. Something in the team's energy shifted. What happened next proved exactly why you don't mess with Clark's teammates, because Sophie Cunningham was about to deliver one of the most unforgettable flagrant fouls of the season. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a CC and Spicy Sophie in the comments. Let's go.
It was chippy the last time these two teams faced off too. Sophie Cunningham suffered her ankle injury in that game, but in addition to that, she actually had part of her front tooth knocked out. She made contact with Jacy Sheldon as Caitlin Clark knocks down the triple.
But what people don't talk about enough is how hard you have to work to be able to be that good. All the hours that she's spent perfecting her craft.
Retreating, firing, and hitting.
So she can do that.
On Indiana arguing the call.
I mean, step back, you're late. She almost looks you in the eye.
Picture this, May 30th, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun. And things couldn't have gone worse for the Fever. What began as a standard WNBA matchup quickly turned into something far more intense. From the opening tip, the Sun brought a physical style of play that crossed the line from competitive to outright dangerous. You could feel the tension building with every possession, as if a storm was brewing on the court.
can we talk about the physicality for a second? Two players on the Indiana Fever got injured last night by the same player on the Connecticut Sun, and that was Jacy Sheldon. And I tweeted about it. She was playing so reckless. I'm fine with players playing aggressive, but there is a thin line between playing aggressive and playing reckless. When you dive for a ball, you don't land on somebody's leg. She landed on top of Sydney Colson's leg, and her leg got stuck and literally twisted around. Both injuries, both Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham, were contact injuries.
Sophie Cunningham was the first to go down, and it didn't look accidental. The hit was far too heavy for what should have been a routine basketball play. Then came another blow. Sydney Colson went down after a second questionable collision that left fans and players alike wondering what was really going on at the center of both incidents. Jacy Sheldon, playing with the kind of aggressive edge that can turn frustration into outright anger.
They weren't non-contact. They weren't ACLs. They weren't Achilles. They were contact injuries caused by the same player. And this kind of physicality that the WNBA they brag about. They say it's always been a physical league. That's just the heart of the It's not good basketball. And we've seen so many injuries. Paige Becker's out with a concussion. Rakia Jackson was out with a concussion. All of these injuries are contact plays. We've seen Caitlin Clark last year get chucked to the ground. We saw Angel Reese get clothesline chucked to the ground. The players continue to do it because the refs are allowing them. Why wouldn't you keep doing it if you're a physical player?
Here's where the college history comes into play. Sheldon and Clark had been battling since their Ohio State days, and every matchup felt like a continuation of an old rivalry back then. Sheldon seemed determined to get under Clark's skin, shadowing her on every possession, bumping her on screens, and jawing during dead ball moments. This wasn't just a game anymore. This was personal.
Her mortal enemy. Her mortal enemy. Took out a player. Jacy Sheldon. Caitlin Clark's mortal enemy. Jacy Sheldon.
That day in May, it felt like the referees were watching an entirely different game than everyone else. Hard fouls went uncalled. Dangerous plays slipped by without a whistle, and Clark was forced to watch her teammates go down while Sheldon walked away without so much as a warning. With every possession, the frustration grew. The Fever battled to the final buzzer, but fell 85-83. Worse than the loss itself was the cost. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson left injured, sidelined from plays that could have been prevented had the officials taken control. Their absence would cast a shadow over the games to come.
This is a reckless play. This is reckless. It is dangerous. And this angle makes it look even worse. It is dangerous. Like Sid Colson is between her and the ball. Sid Colson is in fact between Jacy Sheldon and the ball, and she dives through her knee. It wasn't even called as a foul. It wasn't even called as a foul.
You could see it in Clark's eyes after that loss. The way she stared at Sheldon in the handshake lined the sharp edge in her answers during the post-game interview. Not even close. The Fever would remember that night who caused the injuries and how the officials let it all happen. June 17th couldn't come fast enough. When the day finally arrived, Clark was back from her quad injury, fresh off a dominant win over the then undefeated New York Liberty. She was ready for the Connecticut Sun rematch. It was only her second game in 3 weeks, but the moment she stepped onto the court, you could tell she hadn't forgotten. Her body language, her stare at the Sun players during warm-ups. This wasn't just another game. This was payback in motion.
She just texts me. She never texts me during the game.
All right. Here is Clark splashing home a three from way downtown. Kelly escorting her back to the bench.
Jacy Sheldon is there with her hand in her face.
From the opening tip, that familiar tension was back. Sheldon locked onto Clark like the outcome of the game depended solely on stopping her. She stayed glued to her every move, crowding her space, bumping on screens, and adding all the little extras that make basketball turn ugly. It was the same aggressive style that had taken Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson out back in May, and everyone in the arena could feel where this might be headed.
And Caitlin Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh. Then Marina steps in to protect JC.
Midway through the third quarter came the turning point. Clark advanced the ball, eyes scanning the floor, when Sheldon closed in to defend. She swiped for what looked like a steal, but instead, her finger jabbed directly into Clark's eye. The impact was immediate. The reaction impossible to miss. Clark's head snapped back, and a collective gasp swept through the arena.
Third quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and Jacy Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Curious if Clark is okay.
Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark, pimpers flaring on both sides.
Clark instantly clutches her face, the pain and frustration flashing across her expression. She's squinting, trying to clear her vision. But it's obvious her mind is on more than just the sting. This wasn't random. It was the same player who had taken out her teammates, now targeting her with the same reckless tactics that went unpunished before. Clark reacts the way any competitor would. She shoves Sheldon away after the eye poke, an instinctive move when someone drives a finger into your eye socket. The crowd explodes. They saw exactly what happened. But somehow, the officials are about to take a bad situation and make it even worse.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabrey. She's got a scar on one side, a scratch on one side of her face, a scratch on the other side. It's not from the game today. I asked her about it. She's always in the mix. There's a lot of contact here. There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like.